You know what? I almost did not make this video. Not because I do not have things to say. I always have things to say, as you probably know by now. But because the word gadget makes me a little suspicious. I spent most of my adult life as a librarian, and librarians develop a healthy skepticism toward anything that promises to solve a problem you did not know you had until someone tried to sell you something. But then 3 things happened in the same week. My smoke alarm went off at 2 in the morning over a piece of toast I had forgotten in the oven. I spent 20 minutes looking for my phone before finding it between 2 sofa cushions. And I opened my medicine cabinet to discover I had been quietly running out of one of my daily prescriptions for about 10 days without noticing. None of those things were emergencies, but they were the kind of moments that accumulate. And I sat down at my kitchen table that morning with my coffee and thought, there are solutions to all 3 of these things. Actual, practical, not very expensive solutions. And I have been putting them off because I am suspicious of gadgets. So I started looking into what actually works from my own perspective, which is the perspective of a 72-year-old woman who's been living alone for nearly 10 years in a house she knows every corner of, who is healthy and capable, and also honest about the fact that living alone means that when something goes wrong, there's nobody else there. This is what I found. And I will say up front, every single item on this list I either use myself or would use if I had the space and the need for it. Nothing invented, nothing exaggerated, nothing included because it sounds impressive. Just the things that actually make living alone genuinely easier and genuinely safer. The first one, a wearable alert device. And I want to explain why I finally stopped resisting this. I resisted for years. The idea of wearing something that announces to the world that I am an elderly person who might fall felt frankly undignified. I am aware that this is the wrong way to think about it, and I am sharing the feeling honestly rather than pretending I skip straight to sensible. What changed my mind with Daniel, he called one evening and asked whether I had thought about what would happen if I fell when I was in the garden. I had thought about it. The honest answer is that the neighbor's house is close enough that I would probably be found within a few hours. That answer, when I said it out loud, was less reassuring than it had seemed in my head. Modern alert devices are nothing like what I imagined. They are worn like a watch. They detect falls automatically and contact emergency services without requiring you to press anything. Some monitor heart rate and can detect irregular rhythms. They work outside the house, which means the garden scenario Daniel raised is actually covered. The technology has genuinely improved to the point where wearing one is not a statement about frailty, but simply a practical decision about living alone at this age. I wear mine in the garden and on the days when I am doing anything physical around the house. It sits in a drawer the rest of the time. That arrangement required a conversation with myself about dignity versus practicality. And practicality won. I am glad it did. Tell me in the comments, do you wear or have you considered wearing a fall detection device? I am not asking to judge either way. I am asking because I think the resistance I felt is common, and I am curious how others have thought about it. The second one, an automatic medication dispenser. This one I acquired after the prescription incident I mentioned at the start. I have 4 daily medications. 3 of them I have taken for long enough that they are completely automatic. The 4th is newer, and for some reason, my brain has never fully absorbed it into the routine. I was taking it approximately 4 days out of 7, which is not the same as taking it. An automatic dispenser is exactly what it sounds like. A device programmed with your medication schedule that dispenses the right pills at the right time, signals when it is time to take them, and locks the other compartments so you cannot accidentally take something at the wrong time or double dose something you thought you missed. Several models send a notification to a family member if a dose is missed, which I find genuinely reassuring from both directions. I appreciate knowing that Daniel would be alerted if something was significantly off with my schedule. He appreciates not having to wonder. This is not a device for people who are struggling cognitively. I am not struggling cognitively. It is a device for people who have busy routines and multiple medications and who occasionally get distracted in the morning and are not always sure whether they took the thing they think they took, which is most people with 4 daily medications, regardless of age. Before I continue, a quick word. If you enjoy this channel and want to support my work, just look directly below the video player, right next to the subscribe button, and click the button that says join. That is how you become a Smart Organizer. Smart Organizer's members get exclusive videos, a loyalty badge in the comments, and custom channel emojis. I would love to have you there. The third one, a robot vacuum. And I am going to make the case for this one specifically in terms of floors and safety. I know. A librarian talking about robot vacuums sounds like a generational contradiction. But let me explain the specific reason this matters for people living alone in their 60s and 70s and beyond. And it is not primarily about convenience. It is about the floor. A clean floor is a safer floor. Dust and fine debris on hard flooring creates a surface that is slightly less grippy than a clean surface. Small objects that drift to the floor and stay there become trip hazards. Pet hair, if you have a pet, builds up in corners and along baseboards in ways that are easy to miss during normal weekly cleaning, but that accumulate over time. A robot vacuum running through the main rooms 3 or 4 times a week keeps the floors at a level of cleanliness that requires only occasional manual vacuuming rather than constant attention. I set mine to run in the mornings while I'm in the garden, so I come into clean floors without having spent any time cleaning them. The practical effect on how the house looks and how safe the floors feel underfoot is meaningful. And for anyone with any stiffness in the back or hips who finds floor vacuuming genuinely uncomfortable, the relief is immediate. Tell me in the comments, do you have a robot vacuum? And if so, do you actually use it consistently, or is it more of a sometimes thing? I have talked to several women who bought one and then stopped using it, and I am curious what got in the way. The fourth one, a video doorbell. I want to be honest about this one. The version of this device that is marketed is primarily about security, seeing who is at the door before you open it, deterring would-be intruders, monitoring your entry while you are away. All of that is real and valid. But the reason I actually find mine most useful is simpler. I no longer have to go to the door to find out who is there. I can check my phone, or if I am already at the phone, I can see the image on a small screen by the door. For anyone with any mobility limitation, any joint stiffness, any situation where walking to the door and then discovering it as a solicitor or a delivery for the neighbor is a genuinely unnecessary expenditure of effort, this matters. And for the moments when someone unexpected appears at the door in the evening, the simple ability to see and speak to them through the device without opening the door is a genuine comfort. Installation is simpler than I expected. The battery versions require no wiring. There are clear instructions, and the devices are designed to be set up without professional help. I manage mine on my own in about 40 minutes, which I consider a personal victory. The fifth one, a smart speaker, and specifically for the reminders and the hands-free capability. I arrived at this one reluctantly, for roughly the same reasons I resisted the fall detection device. It felt like an admission of something. An older woman talking to a device in her kitchen felt, I thought, slightly absurd. Then I burned the same pot of soup twice in the same week because I went to do something else while it was heating and lost track of time. I now ask the speaker to set a timer every time I put something on the stove. It takes 3 seconds. The pot has not burned since. The learning curve was entirely worth the result. The hands-free aspect matters more than I anticipated. When my hands are full in the kitchen, or when I am in the garden with dirty hands, being able to ask for a timer, or add something to a list, or make a call without finding and unlocking a phone is genuinely useful. These are small things, but small things are most of daily life. I also use mine for reminders, not for medications, which the separate dispenser handles, but for the appointments and the tasks and the things I think of at one time of day and need to remember at another. I say the thing out loud immediately, and it is in the reminder system before I can forget it. The particular relief of this for someone who lives alone, who does not have another person nearby to serve as a second memory, is real. Please subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Every week I share what I have learned about maintaining a home and a daily life that genuinely works at this stage of life. Whether the topic is cleaning or organization or apparently gadgets. The sixth one, key and item trackers. I am going to say this without embarrassment. I lost my reading glasses 4 times in 1 week last spring. Not because I am becoming forgetful in any worrying sense, but because I set them down in unexpected places when I am distracted, and then I am distracted again when I am looking for them, and I cannot think clearly about where they might be. Small trackers attached to the things you lose most often solve this problem almost completely. They make a sound when you signal them from your phone. Some connect to a network so that they can be found even when they're outside the range of your own phone. The most recently found object via mine, my reading glasses, behind the sofa cushion where I had set them while rearranging the living room. The things I have trackers on, my keys, my reading glasses case, my handbag, these are the 3 objects that account for something like 90% of the time I spend looking for things I cannot find. They are now findable in under 30 seconds, regardless of where they have ended up. Tell me in the comments, what is the one object in your home that you lose most reliably? I would genuinely enjoy knowing whether everyone has the same answer or whether it varies. My guess is keys and glasses account for most responses, but I have been wrong before. The 7th one, bathroom safety additions, specifically grab bars and a shower seat. I want to include these because I think they are underrepresented on lists like this. possibly because they feel more medical than gadget-like. They are the least technologically sophisticated items on this list, and among the most important. The bathroom is the room in any home where falls are most likely. The combination of water, smooth surfaces, and the kinds of movements getting in and out of a shower or bath require makes it genuinely higher risk than any other room. A grab bar installed correctly beside the shower entry and near the toilet is a simple, permanent, inexpensive addition that meaningfully reduces that risk. A shower seat serves a different purpose, but is equally valuable. Not because standing while showering is impossible, but because having the option to sit removes the need to balance on one foot while washing a foot or a leg, which is among the most common ways bathroom falls happen. A shower seat removes one entire category of risk from the bathroom routine. I had grab bars installed when I had a small bathroom renovation done a few years ago. They took perhaps 2 hours total and cost a fraction of what the rest of the renovation cost. They are the part of the renovation I use most consistently, every single day, and the part I would most recommend without qualification. The 8th one, a digital photo frame with remote update capability. This one is different from the others in that its purpose is not safety or efficiency, but connection. And I include it for that reason rather than apologizing for the softness of it. Living alone means that the visual environment of the house is entirely static unless you change it yourself. The same photographs in the same frames on the same walls that they have occupied for years. I love my photographs. But there is something about receiving a new image of the grandchildren at their current ages, or a photograph Daniel took on a trip, that lands in the home differently than a framed image of a moment from years ago. A digital frame connected to a shared family account means that Daniel or Yuki can upload a photo from wherever they are, and it will appear in my living room the next morning. This happens with low frequency, perhaps once a week or so. But the effect of walking past the frame and seeing something new is genuinely warming. It keeps the house feeling connected to the lives of people I love, rather than being a sealed world that refers only to its own past. The 9th one, a smart lock or keypad entry system. I include this last in the security category because it addresses a practical problem I did not fully appreciate until I was managing it myself. The problem of the key. When you live alone, you need at least one other person to have a key, preferably more than one. But distributing physical keys to multiple people, keeping track of who has what, and the practical question of what happens if someone needs to enter when you are incapacitated or otherwise unable to come to the door. These are things that a physical key system handles imperfectly. A keypad lock allows access through a code rather than a physical key. The advantages are straightforward. You can give Daniel a code, and your neighbor a different code, and a trusted friend a third code, and you can change any of those codes at any time without changing the lock. In a medical situation where someone needed to enter and you could not open the door yourself, the person with your code could get in without any of the complications of key duplication or misplaced keys. The codes work from outside, exactly as a key would, without any of the ongoing management a physical key system requires. I made the switch 2 years ago and consider it one of the most practical changes I have made to this house in recent memory. These 9 things are not transformations. They do not change what this house is or how I live in it. But each of them has removed a specific friction or a specific risk from my daily life. And the cumulative effect of 9 small improvements is a home that feels more like a genuinely well-managed place and less like a place where things occasionally go wrong because I am one person managing everything on my own. That is what I wanted to share, not a lifestyle overhaul, just the things that actually work, from a woman who has been living alone long enough to know the difference between what sounds helpful and what is. I want to hear from you now. In the comments, tell me which of these 9 you already have and which one on the list surprised you most. I am curious whether there are things here that feel genuinely new or whether most of you have been ahead of me on this for years. I would not be entirely surprised either way. And please subscribe if you are not yet subscribed. Every week I share what I've learned about living well and keeping a home that works, from real experience rather than theory. I will see you next week.